So, guten Tag alle, Herr Wallis here. Today we're just going to do some random samples of some German exercises. They'll all be multiple choice, so you'll just simply have to select the right answer. And at any time in this video, if you want to stop it and then actually try these on your own and then have the answers revealed to you, slide by slide, we can do that. So we're going to start right in. So if you want to work on them, pause now. Okay. In our first problem here, wie kommen wir? The best answer here is in die Stadt. Wie kommen wir in die Stadt? How are we going to get into the city? How are we getting into the city? Patrick und ich haben gestern ein gutes Buch gelesen. And then, der Film hat meinem Freund gut gefallen. The reason that you have that form of haben with Patrick und ich is because those are two people, so you have to have a plural, a conjugation of the verb that fits with a plural subject, so in this case haben. And for meinem Freund, the reason for that is gefallen is a dative verb, so der Freund will change to dem, and we are simply taking the em and putting it on the end of the possessive pronoun, in this case mine, to make it meinem Freund. Der Film hat meinem Freund gut gefallen. Just remember, gefallen is a dative verb, so everything with that, any object of that verb, will be dative. Frau Smith brachte mir gestern ein Geschenk zum Geburtstag. Our first clue here that it's going to be brachte is the word gestern, which of course indicates the past. We are talking about something that happened yesterday. So therefore, brachte, which is the imperfect form of the verb bringen. Du machst, wen rufst du jetzt an? So the reason why it's wen here is, if we flip this around and put it in its normal order, du rufst, let's just say, ihn jetzt an. And you can see that the role of whoever you're calling is going to be the direct object. So in the sense of who, in the subject or nominative form, it's wer. In the accusative form, it's wen. In the dative form, it's wem. And in the wessen is simply the equivalent of whose. So, for example, in German, you could say, wessen Bleistift ist das? Or whose pencil is that? Die Party ist am Samstag. Alle meine Freunde werden kommen. Freunde here is the plural. You have friends, so you need a conjugation of the verb werden that fits that. So, werden is the correct one. Okay, der Lehrer hat mich gefragt, ob, and then what? So the best answer here is ich kommen kann. I wouldn't capitalize ich here. Ob ich kommen kann. And the reason is because ob is a subordinating conjunction in German. And subordinating conjunctions in German send the conjugated first verb to the end. So our conjugated first verb is kann, which is of course the first person conjugation of its infinitive, which is können, and it's been moved to the end, so ich kommen kann. Paul, gehst du jetzt ins Bett? Schlaf gut. So we are using here the imperative form of the verb schlafen. Schlafen is also it's also very true that schlafen has umlauts in the second and third person singular conjugations, which you see in this example, du schläfst, for example, or schläft. So just remember that with the verb schlafen. Ist das der Mann, der dich angerufen hat? So again, if we take this sentence and we put it in a way that it looks exactly, or in its normal order, der Mann hat dich angerufen. And when I say that, then it's very clear to you that der Mann is fulfilling the role of the subject. So when we replace der Mann with just the relative pronoun, which matches that, we're just going to use der. So, ist das der Mann, der dich angerufen hat? Okay, der neue Porsche sieht aber toll aus. Den möchte ich kaufen. I would like to buy what? The new Porsche. It's a direct object, so it's accusative. So I'm selecting den to represent the Porsche in my next statement. Den möchte ich kaufen. Ich kann bei meiner Schwester wohnen, bis ich ein Zimmer finde. Bei is a dative preposition, so therefore die Schwester will change to der, and I'm taking the er and putting it on the possessive pronoun mein, and I got meiner. Max kämmt sich jeden Morgen vor der Schule die Haare. This is a reflexive pronoun, and to be quite honest, it's the only one of those given that makes sense. Max combs himself or brushes himself every morning in front of the school. So he's always combing his hair in front of the school. Okay. Wilfried, stell die Vase bitte auf den Tisch. So here, auf is one of those two-way prepositions. So that means if it's an action, like it is in this case, stell, which means place, which is clearly an action, then it's going to be accusative. So der Tisch will change to den. Now, I hear people over and over again talk about what's so difficult to know whether a word is a der, a masculine, a feminine, or a neuter noun. There are some things to look for, but by and large, when you memorize the noun, try to also memorize the article, and you'll save yourself some trouble. Okay, ich bin gestern zu Hause geblieben. Geblieben or bleiben is a verb that always uses sein as its helping verb when you're forming the perfect tense. So, ich bin gestern zu Hause geblieben. So, gespielt would be haben. Ich habe gestern zu Hause gespielt. Ich habe gestern zu Hause geschlafen. Ich habe dich gestern gesehen. So, the only verb of those given that uses sein or a form of sein as the helping verb is bleiben, in this case geblieben. So, it was the only possibility. Man kann mit diesem Wagen besonders schnell, aber sicher fahren. So mit is a dative preposition, that's why you have diesem Wagen, and quite honestly, it's the only answer here that makes much sense. Okay, das war's. Vielen Dank für das Zuschauen. Auf Wiedersehen.